So you're a 60-year-old married couple and you're making about $125,000 a year and you're going to retire at age 65. So what we're going to talk about in the video today is, should this couple do Roth conversions? And if so, what would that impact be over their lifetime for what we can expect? So that's what we're going to talk about on today's video. We get this question a lot. Joe, I'm still working. I don't think I should do a Roth conversion. I should wait until I'm retired. Well, you could, but typically I'll tell you that that's not the case. Now, understand everyone's situation is different, so it certainly could make sense to not do anything. But understand, most of the people that we work with are what we call diligent savers. They've got $1 million or more saved up so that they may not necessarily be able to wait till 65, because not only is that $1 million continuing to grow, but what's going to happen eventually when they do retire is what's called required minimum distributions, and that's when the government forces them to take out money. And now when they force to take out money on top of Social Security, maybe a pension also, we're going to see that that's going to push them into higher brackets. But not only that, it's going to force their Social Security to probably be fully taxable at that point. Up to 85% of that will be counted as income, which that does not have to happen. If we plan the right way, we can keep Social Security tax-free. Also, all of this combined could also force you to pay higher Medicare premiums, because as we know, Medicare premiums is based on your income. And so the higher your income is in retirement, the more you're going to have to pay for Medicare. But you get the same coverage as everyone else. So in knowing those things, we have to understand, does it make sense now to do these Roth conversions to increase our income now to have lower income in the future? Because remember, when we take out money from a Roth, there is no tax. So we're going to talk about for this client of what we looked at it doing, but also what was the impact over time for them. So we have a specific calculator that we use with many of our clients. We use a lot of software to calculate what the most optimal time to do Roth conversions is, but also, if we should or shouldn't do them, but also how much. And so this calculator allows us to see, based on the tax plan that we do, what amount of savings could we really save someone over time. And so we like to think of it as optional taxes versus required taxes. Now, you're probably thinking what that means. And basically the idea of it is, we know what our required taxes are. We know we have to pay our fair share of taxes. And so that's what our required taxes. So we feel like if we can do tax planning the right way, implement the strategies we talk about correctly, then we are only required to pay X amount of taxes. If we don't follow tax planning and we just say, yep, whatever the government tells me to do, I'll just do it. When they tell me to take the money out in the future, I'll take it out. I'm not going to do any planning now. I'm just going to wait. Well, that's going to be the optional taxes that you don't have to pay, but you certainly can if you want to. Now, I've never had someone come to me and say, hey, Joe, I donate more money to the IRS above and beyond what my tax bill is every single year. Most people don't say that. Most people are saying, I'm trying to find ways to lower my taxes because I feel like I'm overpaying. And so we're going to talk about how the optional taxes could what it look like if this couple did nothing. And then we're going to show you, hey, based on the strategies we're recommending, here's what we could get them to, is what we expect. So when we look at their optional taxes here on the screen, you're going to see that their taxes paid on their required minimum distributions was about $465,000 from age, from we're looking at from now until age 90 is what we're expecting in this analysis. We also have to worry about taxes paid on any reinvestment. So the concept of this is that when you reinvest money from an RMD in the future, you're going to have to do so in either a taxable ordinary income or a capital gains type investment. So if you take this money and you put it into the stock market, you'll have to pay capital gains rates on that, which for most people is around 15%. Or if you decide, I'm just going to put it in my bank account and I'm going to pay taxes on the interest each year, well, now you're paying that ordinary income, which for this couple is probably going to be at least 22 or 25% when that tax rate increases, or maybe even more than that in the future. And so you got to see what that amount's going to be over time for them. If we expect them not to need their RMDs in the future because they've got enough Social Security, they got enough in their pension, well, now we're going to expect them to pay $181,000 in capital gains tax if we decided just to invest that money and then have to pay taxes on that money over time. Again, that's an optional tax, because if it's in the Roth and it grows tax-free, we may not have to pay that. And the next one is Social Security taxes. So as I mentioned before, up to 85% of your Social Security can be taxable based on your income. Now, the way this works is if your income is from here to here, which is considered low income, you don't have to pay any taxes on your Social Security. None of it's counted towards income. But as soon as your income starts to go past this point and goes higher and higher and higher, now you're going to be required to start to force yourself to pay taxes on your Social Security. And so for them, with this RMD in the future from this $1 million that's continued to grow over the years, they're going to force themselves to pay nearly that full amount of Social Security tax. But again, if we were able to do some Roth conversions, things like that now, we could lower them down in the future is what we could expect. So that's going to be another $93,000 in taxes that they're going to have to pay. That again is optional. And then the taxes paid by beneficiaries. So if their goal is to leave money behind, well, their beneficiaries are now going to have to take out this count over 10 years, probably in their 50s or 60s during their highest income earning years, and at unknown tax rates in the future when that happens, which may mean that they pay more taxes in the future than now. Now, we're just going to assume tax rates today on this, so we're going to make this a conservative calculation, but understand this number could be a lot more than $588,000 is what we would expect. But for illustration purposes, that's what we're going to assume here. And so the total taxes paid over your lifetime, based on this $1 million that you have currently right now, is going to be about $1.3 million. I don't know if you've ever thought about that, but you could end up paying in more taxes over your lifetime from here on out, and on just that required minimum distribution amount, that you wouldn't have. You have $1 million now you're expecting to pay 1.3. That's a lot of money. And so what can we do to change this ultimately? I know what you're itching to see, and the anticipation is very real here. So what we could look to do for someone like this is, hey, if they're in the 22% bracket now, what if we look to just maximize a 22% bracket? Now, this isn't to say, and what this means is we do Roth conversions up to the top of the 22% bracket. Now, this is not cookie cutter advice. There's a lot of other things we have to look into here, especially when they start to turn 63. If we do that, now we're going to have to pay increased Medicare premiums, so we have to look and see if that's going to be worthwhile or not. But also we have to understand that, hey, it may make sense for them to go all the way to the top of the 24% bracket, because if tax rates are going to be 25% if they're in the 22% in the future, maybe it makes sense. So those are all things that we're looking at. But I just want to make it very clear that we're just showing something general just so you can get an idea of what this could look like. So if that's the case, and then we're also saying that, hey, let's say they delayed Social Security to give us more room to do Roth conversions during these early part of their 60s and such, then what could this look like over time? And so the required taxes, the taxes paid on their RMDs, is only going to be about $251,000 until age 90. And the reason why is because we're able to lower that RMD because now they don't have all their money in the tax deferred. They don't have all of $1 million in tax deferred. They now have more of a balance to where they can take out money from the Roth tax-free that does not have a required minimum distribution in the future. And then also, as you can see here, taxes paid on the reinvestment, it's now only $12,000 because, again, we've lowered that RMD so much that when we take that money out, there's not as much to reinvest because it's already in the Roth. It's already being reinvested in the Roth, which is growing tax-free versus growing at capital gains rate. So you can see for many people that don't plan to use their RMD, this can be a very useful strategy, not only saving and paying the taxes now at lower rates versus later at higher rates, but also avoiding all of the growth tax ongoing on anything that's reinvested. And then as you can see here, we're actually able to project our Social Security taxes to be zero. Now you're probably thinking, how is that possible? Remember, if your income's from here to here, you pay no Social Security tax. And so because we're able to keep their RMD so low, we're able to keep it within that range to where they don't have to pay taxes on their Social Security ongoing is what we want to plan on. And that's great for them because now they can keep all that money they've worked so hard for all these years and put it in their pocket and not have to give any to Uncle Sam. And so for them, that's going to lead to $93,000 of savings of what they were optional to do versus required if we plan the right way. That's what could look like. And then taxes paid by beneficiaries, again, if a lot of this money's in the Roth by then, $32,000 is their tax bill over that 10-year period versus $588,000, what we showed earlier. And so if we look at their total tax paid based on this analysis, they're only required to pay $295,000 is what we're expecting. That's what Uncle Sam says, hey, you're not going to go to jail if you pay me $295,000, and congrats because you were tax smart and you utilized my tax code to the full advantage to ensure you weren't overpaying. And that's what the tax code's for. The tax code is there for us to take advantage of. As long as we're not doing anything that's illegal and we're just following the rules, then that's what it's there for. It's there to help us save money. And so in this case, you're looking at an estimated tax overpayment of $1 million by not taking action. So great news for this couple here. We were able to help them, and we're going to be able to enact this type of plan moving forward. But again, if you don't take action and you just sit still, what is going to happen over the next few years? And again, this illustration is not showing taxes increasing over time, which many people expect with $34 trillion in debt, and knowing that that could be a big concern over time. And so just to understand, regardless of what your situation is, maybe you're in your 60s and this situation is very applicable to you, maybe you're retired. These types of strategies can be very important to get on right now, especially over the next 2 years with tax rates on sale, because in 2026, tax rates are going up, what's called the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. And so we really want to make sure we're maximizing these next 2 years, but also making sure we're maximizing each year ongoing after that. And maybe we do a little bit each year to make sure that we can get ahead of this tax plan. Because at the end of the day, we need to be tax smart. And so with many of our clients we work with, they don't necessarily need a ton more money at this point. We just need to be having a better structure of a plan moving forward to make sure that we're taking advantage of all these little things and maximizing their retirement. We like to think of the mountain analogy, right? All these years you've been climbing up, you've been saving, you've been working, and you've done great. Now it's time to come down the mountain, and that's when things can get a little more difficult. But the good news is, with proper planning, when you implement strategies correctly, this is the type of savings that you can see throughout your retirement. So you have to really ask yourself, with over $1 million of tax savings, what would you do? Extra trips, more time with grandkids, more of a legacy to leave behind, more to give to the charities, being able to retire maybe instead of 65 or retire at 62, or maybe you retire now. These are all opportunities that you're going to have by planning the right way. So hopefully this is encouraging for you. If you would like further guidance on this type of planning and you feel like our team could help you with this type of planning, then feel free to reach out to us. There's in the link below, in the description, there's a link to schedule a time with us, and this could be a time for us to see if we could help you ongoing if you're looking for this type of help. To be clear, we don't work with everyone that requests a time with us just because of high demand at this time, but we will try to at least give you guidance in some way or somehow of making sure you're in the right place. So thanks for watching. Go ahead and subscribe as well if you like these videos, and you'll get reminders ongoing on each one that we post every single week. So enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you on the next one. Hope you enjoyed the video today. As an avid viewer of this YouTube channel, we would like to offer you a free copy of our new book that just came out called I Hate Taxes. So if you would like a free copy of this, then go ahead in the description below. You'll be able to click on a link to get that free copy of this new book, I Hate Taxes.